Dropas Crash. Dropas Crash, 10,000 BC. Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. We're back with another installment of Ancient Aliens, and today we're going to take a look at a fascinating artifact that allegedly contains information regarding an extraterrestrial crash landing from 10,000 years ago. The story is quite a complicated one and involves multiple sources, so let's dive right into it. In the mountainous region of Bayan Karaula, on the border between China and Tibet, archaeologists discovered a vast network of interconnected caves. It was within these caves that they found a series of meticulously dug graves, which contained the skeletons of what can only be described as a mysterious and strange race of human beings. These skeletons are of particular interest because of their bizarre physical characteristics. Some sources describe them as having exceedingly thin and spindly bodies with abnormally large and overdeveloped heads. Given the arrangement of the graves, it's clear that whoever these people were, they conducted some form of burial ritual for their dead. It was initially hypothesized that the caves may have once been occupied by a previously unknown species of ape. However, this theory was quickly discarded when it was determined that these remains were almost certainly human. Furthermore, the presence of burial rituals indicated that whatever strange creature this was, it was intelligent enough to understand complex ideas such as death and the afterlife. Whoever these people were, they certainly weren't normal. It wasn't until 1938 that a member of the excavation team stumbled upon something truly remarkable. Buried in the dirt and grime of one of the caves was a large, round stone disc. Upon closer inspection, it was found to contain a spiral groove that ran from the center of the disc to its outer edge. It almost looked as though it were a giant record. This proved to be true as researchers later determined that the spiral groove was, in fact, a continuous line of tiny yet intricate characters. The team carefully examined this strange artifact, but no one present was able to decipher the hieroglyphic writing. The disc was labeled and stored away until it could be studied further. Unfortunately, this never happened immediately. The disc sat in storage for nearly 3 decades. During this time, various experts attempted to translate the hieroglyphs, but none were successful. It wasn't until 1965 that a Chinese professor named Dr. Tsum Nui and 4 of his colleagues were granted permission to break the code. Once translated, it became clear that this artifact was far from ordinary. Now, despite this, for some reason, the academics responsible kept the nature of the discs top secret. Everyone from the general public to most experts remained unaware of what was inscribed on the mysterious artifact. Instead, only a select few knew of the truly startling revelations. Fortunately for us, the professors eventually got their way and were able to publish their findings. It appeared with the title, A New Discovery in the Yungars of Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, the grooved script concerning spaceships which, as recorded on the discs, landed on the Earth 12,000 years ago. Once read, the contents of the disc become far more clear. The disc told the story of a cosmic flying machine that arrived from another planet thousands of years ago. One excerpt reads, "The Dropas came down from the clouds in their aircraft. Our men, women, and children hid in the caves 10 times before sunrise. When at last they understood the sign language of the Dropas, they realized that the newcomers had peaceful intentions. They wanted to exchange gifts with our people. We gave them food, and they gave us ornaments made of jade, agate, and other precious materials." Another passage expresses the regret of the Ham tribe that the aliens' spaceship had crash-landed in such a remote and inaccessible place, and that there had been no way to build a new one to enable the Dropas to return to their own planet. Since the publication of these translations, experts have come to believe that the discs serve as a literal record of a spacecraft crash landing. In fact, the story told by the discs is remarkably similar to accounts found in ancient Hindu texts, alluding to the gods coming down from the sky in vimanas, their flying machines, and interacting with humans. All told, 716 of these grooved discs were later recovered in the same caves. I should also mention that the story of the discs was corroborated by local legends. The oral history of the area tells of small, gaunt, yellow-faced men who came from the clouds long, long ago. Men with huge, bulging heads and puny bodies, and were so ugly and repellent that they were hounded down by local tribesmen on horseback. Strangely, the description of the invaders tallies with the humanoid skeletons originally discovered in the caves by Professor Chi Tai. On the walls of the caves themselves, archaeologists uncovered crude yet unmistakable pictures of the rising sun, the moon, unidentified stars, and the earth, all joined together by lines of pea-sized dots. The drawings date back approximately 12,000 years and appear to corroborate the tale of the crash disks. In all likelihood, this entire culture and its members died out thousands of years ago, possibly at the hands of the nomadic tribes they were hiding from. Other evidence includes a series of strange pits filled with artifacts like bone fragments, animal bones, and stones arranged in circles. Some researchers believe these were used for ceremonial purposes. To this day, two separate tribes inhabit the cave area. These are the Hams and the Dropas. Both are extremely odd in appearance. The tribesmen average no more than 5 feet in height and are neither typically Chinese nor Tibetan. Their racial background is a complete mystery. Unfortunately for the truth seekers among us, this is where things start to get a little controversial. You see, in order to authenticate the discs, several were sent to Moscow for testing. It was hoped that by studying them, scientists would be able to prove that the discs were legitimate artifacts and not some sort of modern hoax. While examining the discs, researchers discovered that they were made of a rare type of marble that could only be mined in one place on Earth. This lends credibility to the claim that the discs are authentic and genuinely ancient. However, this is about where the story takes a turn for the worse. When the discs were scraped free of rock particles which had stuck to them and then put through chemical analysis, it was discovered that they contained large amounts of cobalt and other metallic substances. According to Dr. Vyacheslav Syzev, who described the experiments in the Soviet magazine Sputnik when placed on a special turntable, the discs vibrated or hummed in an unusual rhythm as though an electric charge was passing through them or as if they formed some part of an electrical circuit. At some time, they had clearly been exposed to extraordinarily high voltages. As you might imagine, this discovery threw the scientific community into pandemonium. If the discs were indeed exposed to high levels of electricity, then it would seem as if they were artificial in origin. This alone doesn't prove that the discs are extraterrestrial in nature, but it does make a compelling case against them being natural artifacts. Today, most experts remain skeptical of the crash disk story, citing a lack of tangible proof. Supporters of the tale, however, point to the fact that these strange discs tell a consistent and coherent story. If they are indeed real, then it would seem that roughly 12,000 years ago, the Earth was visited by a race of alien beings who crashed in the mountains of western China. After their arrival, the locals produced artwork depicting the sun, the moon, stars, and unidentified objects. They also carved mysterious symbols, which were later deciphered as a warning to future generations of the extraterrestrial visitors and their flying machines. Unfortunately, the truth of the matter is we just don't know what to make of these bizarre relics. Are they genuine artifacts left behind by a lost civilization or some sort of elaborate hoax? Are the strange markings random patterns or an encoded message from beyond the stars? Personally, I find it difficult to accept that these strange tablets are anything less than genuine. The story itself may be shrouded in mystery and controversy, but the possibility that 12,000 years ago, ancient humans may have encountered a lost alien race is simply too tantalizing to dismiss outright. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. See you next time.